Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel in the college process. Once again, I'm Ed from Principia Prep, and today we're going to be going over all the questions that we do every Friday. You guys put on the videos here. So if you guys have any questions on any videos here, just put the question on the comment section of the video. I'm going to jump back on YouTube every week and basically make a video of this on Zoom here, and basically reading your question out first and then answering your question in detail format and putting it back up here on YouTube. Right off the bat, let's start off with the first question here that came in from John. Can you please give some financial advice for parents that have two kids going to college at the same time? Well, the way this works is typically you guys fall into essentially one of three different groups, to be honest with you. Group number one is typically you get the right school list and both students go to generous colleges. That's what you're looking to do. That's basically the optimal group you want to be in. Group number two is you kind of have a balancing act here, where one student chooses a very generous college and one student unfortunately chooses a college that's not very generous at all. So they kind of balance themselves out. And the third group that unfortunately a lot of families fall into is both students choose colleges that are not generous and don't provide any scholarship help or not enough scholarship help or no grant or anywhere near enough grant help to help us out essentially. So you're always trying to basically avoid group three. Hopefully you can fall into group two. If you can't, but really the best case scenario is falling into group number one. Now, the way you do that is by creating the right college list and making sure right from the get-go, doing the research to make sure these colleges are generous. Because if the colleges are not generous before you even start applying, and you know they're not going to give you any aid, then moving forward with applying to those colleges don't really make any sense from a financial point of view. If you know the aid's not going to be there, I would not be pushing students to schools that will not provide financial assistance, either in grant money or scholarship money, to deduct basically the tuition costs. Because if I know I need help, I just can't have them apply there, because they get accepted to these colleges and they fall in love with them. Then we're in that weird situation where we either have to say no to them or we push forward and just add a ton of debt on top of these students, which we don't want to do, obviously. Especially if you watch this video here, the last video I did here, explaining what this kind of debt does as far as if students add too much student loan debt, what their lives are like in the 20s all the way through, in some cases, into the early 30s, what this impact has on them, on getting housing, on moving out, on buying a car, on just living their life. This video here is a real eye opener explaining kind of what happens if you take on too much student loan debt. So just things to think about. The right college list is really the key here if you have multiple students going off to college at the same time. Now, with that being said, let's go to the next question here. Can the federal loans only be taken out, I guess you're asking for, in the beginning of freshman year, or can it be taken out throughout the year? Now, the way it works is the federal direct loans that you're offered for freshman year, the $5,500 of federal loans, can be utilized at any point in time. So let's just say you decide you don't want to take the federal loans in, let's say, now, this time frame, May, June, July. But it's mid-September, mid-October, and you decide, you know what, maybe we need some more help for the books, or maybe we need some more help for whatever may be college expenses are coming up, and we do want the federal loans. Yes, you can go back in there and ask them to reinstate the federal loans and then accept them. You can also accept them after the first term. So if the fall semester is done and you didn't take them for the whole year, so the fall semester didn't utilize the $2,750 of the $5,500, you can go back and say, you know what, we want the second half of this to $2,750 for the spring. We have additional costs came up, so please reinstate the federal direct loans. We will accept them and then move forward utilizing those loans. So yes, you can technically ask for the federal loans at any point in time, by the way. Okay. Let's go to the next question here. How do I know if my daughter, this question from Tamara, how do I know if my daughter really needs to take out the loans they were offered through the financial aid? Now, the way it works is if you're talking about the federal direct loans, you're really waiting for the June bill to come out. Once the June bill comes out around June 15th or so, June 20th timeframe, that's when you know what the cost of the college will be. And then financially, you'll be able to understand, will these loans be beneficial for us to take out because they help us cover a certain amount and make it basically alleviate the expenses we need to pay out front? Or maybe we don't need these loans. Maybe we have enough in the college savings at this point in time where we can just move forward without any federal loans or any loans in place whatsoever. So for you right now, you're really waiting for the bill to come out to kind of figure out what makes sense for us to move forward with the loans or not to take the loans because of the fact that we don't need them. But basically, in the next 2 or 3 weeks here, you should understand whether or not the loans will make beneficial sense for you or not. Okay? And then the next question here from Daniela. My student is living off campus next year. Any advice to determine the amount and or what to take into consideration? Well, right off the bat, one of the first things you want to look at is there going to be a financial aid change to our financial aid package if we move off campus? You have two different budgets in the world of college. Commuter budget, which basically means you're commuting to that college, and then you have a residency budget. Now, when it comes to the residency budget, That budget is going to be higher as far as more expenses you must pay towards the college as far as room and board than the residency budget because you're not paying for these factors. So a bigger budget, more expenses, more opportunities for financial aid assistance. So if you're moving off campus, that means that your budget goes down, your costs go down, but also the opportunities for financial aid also go down. So one of the things you want to make sure to figure out is by talking to the financial aid office, if we move off campus, will this affect our financial aid? Will we lose financial assistance based on the fact we're not living on campus anymore? Next question is also from Nia here. Hi, Ed. If I take out the subsidized student loan and my daughter gets enough scholarship money to pay for freshman year, does that money, the overage, get used for the second year? And it's kind of up to you. The way it works is this in the world of college. If you get too much aid coming in, whether it be loan assistance or grant money or scholarships, essentially any overage, basically they call it refund in the world of college, any refund passed on to the student can be utilized for really any college expense, tuition, room and board, books, transportation, etc. So if you want to hold on to any refund that your student gets based on the fact that you have so much money coming in, either for private scholarships or additional loan funds from the federal government, that money can then be held on to you by you guys and then used for the next upcoming academic term, or even maybe a term after that. So yes, you can use any overage anytime you want for the college process moving forward. Looks like the last question here is from Ed. Thank you for the information. Can I establish California residency with rent payments? I use Venmo and moved into my brother's California home at 27. Well, the way it works is being an age of 27, you're technically deemed an independent student right off the bat. So if you did have a lease agreement, a rental statement, any of these things, that would make it easier to establish residency, by the way. But the easiest way, I guess, to establish residency is to start doing taxes in California. The way it works is this. Of all the different aspects to get residency, lease agreement, rental statement, driver's license, voter registration, utility bill, of all those aspects, the number one factor is the tax return. Now, if you can show on that tax return, federal tax return showing an address in California, obviously your brother's house, as well as also having a state of California tax return, that's really the key. Because the way it works is they're looking to see who's paying state taxes. It's like the number one factor here. Because if you're paying state taxes, then they're willing to give you the benefit of the fact that you're paying state taxes because those state taxes help to basically alleviate and lower the cost for the residents of California for state school. So right off the bat, that's the key for me is getting the state taxes in place. If you have a rental agreement, rental statement, those help out, but the state taxes, the federal taxes, that's the key to getting yourself the residency, especially since you're an independent student. So the parents' financial information after the age of 24 no longer matters. Your key there is really to establish residency through the tax returns. That would be key. And I don't care how much you make. You can make $2,000, you can make $200,000. It's irrelevant. It's just getting the state taxes in place to get the residency, to get the lower tuition costs for you guys out there. And all that being said, thank you guys for watching today's video. Once again, if you have any questions, just leave them on any of the videos here. Every Friday going forward, I'll do the same thing I did today. I'll look at your questions, read them for everyone to know what the question's about. Then I'll answer them in detailed format and put them back on here on YouTube so that way everyone has answers to all their questions here for the YouTube channel. Other than that, thank you guys for watching the video. If you have any questions, any concerns, if you need help one-on-one basis, on the screen is my cell phone number and my email. If you want, I do sit down with families through Zoom, one-on-one consultations to help them out with their situation as well. If you need information about that, just text me. I'll be able to answer your questions very quickly. Text, by the way, is the fastest way to reach me. That is my cell phone number. And other than that, thank you for watching today's video. Once again, my name is Ed from Principia Prep.